Hi, second graders. Welcome back. It is Monday, February 8th, 2021. We are going to talk about our number corner and update a few things right now. And then I'm also going to tell you about the new choice board. So just like the last 2 weeks, the choice board choices are going to stay the same all week long. And I expect that you do each of the choices at least one time throughout the week. So you need to be able to time manage. You need to be able to listen to Number Corner. You need to be able to do the lesson and any activity within the lesson that I'm asking you to do with me. And then you also need to save a little bit of time at the end of math to do one of the choices. Now remember, you shouldn't be spending 45 minutes or an hour on the choice. You need to be able to spread it out. So that probably is going to look like spending a little bit of time on each thing every day. So spending 5 minutes on Study Island, or 5 minutes doing boom cards, or 5 minutes solving a story problem, or 5 minutes on a different choice. All right. As always, you need to be doing extra math before you sign on in the morning to meet with me. So here we go. All right. I have updated the arrows. So I was adding an arrow that pointed to each of the countries that has been on our calendar marker so far. So we've had Chile, Norway, Canada, Mexico, South Korea. Then Saturday's card was Bangladesh. Sunday's card was Poland. And then today is Portugal. So instead of adding all those arrows all over here, because it would just end up looking like one big mess, I've deleted all the other arrows, and so we're going to start fresh this week. So our arrow right now is pointing to the country of Portugal, and Portugal is on the continent of Europe. All right, I've been telling you that our calendar markers, we're going to be comparing something about them. So I just want you to look at the calendar markers right now, and what is something that you notice that is on all of them? Every single one. What is on every single card? I'll blow it up real quick. What is on every single card that we have had so far in our month of February? For the first few cards, I could have said that there was red on every card, and I could have also said that there is white on every card. But now that we are getting farther into our month of February, I notice that one of those things is not true. So now that we are to the 8th month, I notice that not all the cards have white, but so far, all of the cards have had red. So I want you to keep that in your mind, and in a few days, we're going to start doing something with that color red. All right. So we've also been talking about how each one of our calendar markers has a story problem, and we've been working a lot on story problems, figuring out the start, the change, and the end. And we talked about splitting as a strategy, and we have also talked about using a number line as a strategy. And I will talk about that more in the lesson below. So right now I'm going to pull up our calendar observations. I have updated it so far. So these were the ones for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today we're on Portugal. And I've noticed lots of patterns in our equation column. I've noticed that the number in the start column has gone up by 1 each time. So for our first story problem, it was 1, and it's just gone up each time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've also noticed that our number that's in the change has gone up by 10 each time. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I've also noticed that our number in the end spot has gone up by 11 each time. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77. And the part that we are solving for has rotated. So we were first solving for the end, then we were solving for the change, then we were solving for the start, and then it repeated. And I've underlined what we were solving for. So based on that, you can probably make a prediction about what our equation will look like today. But I'm still going to read the story problem. So let's listen. 8 people went to Portugal and saw some people at the museum looking at art and sculptures. There were 88 people in all. How many people were at the museum? All right. So I want you to just listen for if you hear a number at the beginning, if you know how many people we have in all, if we know two numbers and we need to figure out the total. I'm going to read it one more time. 8 people went to Portugal and saw some people at the museum looking at art and sculptures. There were 88 people in all. How many people were at the museum? All right, so I'm going to put my cursor right there and I'm going to start typing. So if I hear a number right away, that's going to be my start. So 8 people. Did you hear a number right away? I did too. So I'm going to write 8. That's going to be the first number in my equation. All of these problems so far have been addition. So I'm going to go ahead and put my plus sign. So 8 people went to Portugal and saw some people. Some people. Does that tell me how many? No, it doesn't. I'm going to leave that blank right now. I think that I'm going to need to solve for my change. There were 88 people in all. How many people were at the museum? All right, so I think that I know my total is going to be 88. So I need to figure out what 8 plus what equals 88. Well, maybe I just know that. Maybe I can look at my pattern. But I know that 8 plus 80 equals 88. And I'm going to underline the 80 because that's what I had to solve for today. All right, so now let me bring you down before I do the lesson, and that will be in a different video. I just want to tell you about our choice board. So let me make myself smaller. So we are really going to be working on the strategy of number line today to solve both addition and subtraction number sentences or story problems. I know that some people in our classes have really quick, easy ways to solve addition and subtraction problems, whether that's in their head or a different strategy. And that's great. But when you take assessments this year and when you have to take assessments for people who are not Mrs. Bean, you are going to be expected to show how you solve things in many different ways. And so it's important that you know really well how to solve the same problem in many different ways. So like I said, this week, our way that we want to get really good at is the number line. All right, so like always, these are our third quarter skills. And so several of them are review, but 2 of them go really nicely into this number line thing. So the first choice board is you do have an assignment. And so this is something that I'm going to check at the end of the week, and I need you to have it done. So there's going to be 20 questions. This would be a perfect choice to just do 5 questions a day so that you don't get bogged down, so that it's not overwhelming, because I know that when I get overwhelmed, I just guess. And then it's not my best work. So I want you to make sure that you are pacing yourself and you're setting a timer so that you don't lose track of the time. You don't end up spending tons of time on it. Just 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Maybe you choose 2 days out of the week and you say, okay, on Tuesday, I'm going to answer 10 questions from the blue choice. And on Thursday, I'm going to spend 10 minutes answering 10 questions from the blue choice. This has to do with counting. So either by ones, by 2s, by 5s, by 10s, like our second grade skill. And so it's a lot of fill in the missing number. Okay, so you should be pretty good with this. All right, this next one is a sheet that looks like this. Now I'm going to try to link it so that it's bigger, but I'm just going to blow it up really quick so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so there's a spot to write your number right here of what you rolled. There is a spot to write your number in standard form, a spot, I have a tickle in my throat, a spot to draw using base 10 blocks, and a spot for expanded form. Okay, so you can print this out or you could make your own board that looks like this. Now this is a game that you can play as many times as you want. So you can play this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But it is a paper pencil. So you're going to either print out this and use it or write it in a notebook. So first, if you don't have dice, I've included this. It's a website, and I really hope that it works on yours. So you'll click it, and it'll bring you to the dice. I think it's already set up for 3 dice. You'll click Roll Dice. And then I'm just going to go in order. So I'm going to start over here. There's a 6. So then on my recording sheet right here, I would draw the dice like it looks on a 6. Then I'd go back, and then I have a 5. So same thing. On my recording sheet, I'd draw what the dice looks like for 5 and 5. And then I would write the number 655. And then I would draw that number using base 10 blocks, 655. And then I would write that number in expanded form. 600 plus 50 plus 5 equals 655. Then I would do it again for the next one. I would roll the dice again. All right, I have a 2, a 5, and a 1. So I would go back to my recording sheet and do that same thing. All right, so that is choice, the second choice, which is practicing our standard expanded form. All right, put that right there. Then there's a boom deck, and this has to do with adding and subtracting within 100. It's written in the standard algorithm. So this is how I've noticed that a lot of people have been solving. So the way that this happens is you just go in the ones place and the tens place. I know that some people have already been doing it. So you would look at the numbers that are in the ones place. The 5 is in the ones place and the 1 is in the ones place. And you would say 6. And then the 2 is in the tens place and the 6 is in the tens place. So you would say 8. And so the answer to that is 86. So it's just a way to practice that. It'll be quick. The last thing is the same thing that we did last week. It's just different problems. And I've made it look a little bit different. So I've put the story problem up at the top. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is one that I would do 1 a day, because sometimes if you are really needing to show your work doing all of them, you get sloppy or you make a silly mistake. So I want you to read what the story problem is. That's step 1. I want you to decide whether it's an addition or a subtraction number sentence and circle it. And then here is the start of your number line, because on every single one of these, I want you to use our strategy of using a number line. So if it's an addition number sentence or an addition story problem, I want you to use the number line. If it is a subtraction story problem, I still want you to use the number line. All right, so in my next video, I will tell you more about how to do that, but I really want this week to be practicing that strategy so that we can be good at it. All right. So those are your 4 choices this week. You must do all of them. By the end of the week, I will be able to see online if you've done this, and I would like a picture of the one that you are most proud of for the green choice. Otherwise, I'm going to trust that you are making that choice. All right? Okay, I will see you on the lesson where we are going to talk more about number lines and how to do it. Have a wonderful week making these choices.